It starts with a spelling bee, a national stage, kids barely taller than their podiums, and a tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Cameras zoom in. A kid stares at the microphone like it holds the power of the universe. The word, unpronounceable. The stakes, unbelievable. What separates the winner from the rest isn't always intelligence. It's something else. Something invisible, but incredibly powerful. Grit. Hello, I am Bharat, and welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. So, what exactly is grit? You might think it's just determination or willpower, but Angela Duckworth paints a richer picture. Grit, as she defines it, is the blend of passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. It's waking up every day with the same dream and being willing to put in the hard, often boring effort to make that dream real. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it's magical. Angela wasn't always fascinated by grit. In fact, she started her career as a management consultant, then taught math to middle school students before diving into psychology. Her path wasn't linear, but her question was laser-focused. Why do some people succeed far beyond what their talent would suggest? Her journey led her to West Point Military Academy, where cadets endure what's called Beast Barracks, a grueling 7-week training that pushes young soldiers to their limits. It turns out, SAT scores and athleticism didn't predict who survived Beast. Grit did. And then she looked at spelling bee champions. Same thing. The grittiest kids, those who practiced the most, who studied even when it was boring, who bounced back after defeat, were the ones who triumphed. Again and again, the pattern repeated. Grit predicted success more reliably than IQ, than talent, even than experience. But what does grit really look like in real life? Picture someone like Will Smith. He once said, "I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. I will not be outworked." Or take J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. These aren't just lucky breaks. These are stories of grit. Angela says talent is how quickly your skills improve when you invest effort. Achievement, on the other hand, is what happens when you take those skills and apply effort again. That's why she says effort counts twice. Imagine you're a potter. Talent gets your fingers used to the clay, but it's effort that shapes the masterpiece and more effort that fires it perfectly in the kiln. But grit isn't just about working hard. It's about working hard on something you deeply care about. Angela noticed that high achievers had something in common. They weren't dabblers. They weren't chasing one shiny object after another. They had a consistent interest over the long term. They didn't pivot every time things got tough. Now, if you're thinking, "But I've never been passionate about just one thing," you're not alone. Passion isn't always fireworks. Often, it starts as a spark, a vague interest that, when nurtured, grows into something meaningful. Gritty people fall in love with what they do, not necessarily overnight, but through years of engagement, curiosity, and commitment. There's a myth we all buy into, especially in the age of Instagram and YouTube, that success should come fast. That if you're not brilliant at something immediately, you're not meant for it. But grit challenges that idea. The truth is, success loves slow cookers, not microwaves. So how do we develop grit? Angela breaks it down into 4 key psychological assets: interest, practice, purpose, and hope. First, interest. You have to enjoy what you're doing. Not all the time, but enough to keep coming back. Interest isn't something you find, like a lost coin. It's something you grow. Next comes practice. Not just showing up and going through the motions, but what she calls deliberate practice. Identifying your weaknesses, setting stretch goals, and constantly striving to improve. It's what top performers do every day. They fall in love with boredom because they know that's where the magic happens. Then there's purpose. Doing something that matters not just to you, but to others. Gritty people often believe their work makes a difference. That belief fuels them when things get tough. Think of a nurse on a 12-hour shift, a teacher grading papers at midnight. Purpose adds meaning to the grind. Finally, hope. And this isn't the passive, I wish things get better kind of hope. It's the gritty kind, where you believe that your own efforts can improve your future. It's that stubborn, resilient voice that says, I'll try again tomorrow. One powerful story Angela shares is of Jeff Bezos. Before Amazon was a tech giant, it was just an online bookstore run from a garage. Bezos once said he knew failure was part of the journey, but not trying at all, that was the real failure. That's grit in action. And the best part? Grit isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with. It can grow. Like a muscle, it strengthens with effort. Your grit grows when you reflect on setbacks and choose to get back up. When you choose to keep going, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Parents often ask Angela, how can I make my kid gritty? Her answer, be gritty yourself. Kids learn what they live. If they see you tackling hard challenges with perseverance, they internalize that grit. Create a culture where effort is praised over raw talent. Celebrate persistence, not just results. Schools and organizations can also nurture grit by fostering a growth mindset. The belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Carol Dweck's research complements Angela's beautifully here. When people believe they can improve, they're more likely to try again after failure. Angela also talks about the hard thing rule. In her family, everyone has to do a hard thing, something that requires daily effort and long-term commitment. And they can't quit midway. It's not about being the best. It's about sticking with it, even when it's tough. So here's a question for you. What's your hard thing? What dream or goal would be worth working on even if success came slowly, even if no one else believed in it but you? Angela's message is clear. Gritty people don't just have resilience, they have stamina. They fall 7 times and stand up 8. They get comfortable being uncomfortable, and they keep their eyes on the long game even when it gets lonely. Think of someone running a marathon. At mile 5, they're fresh. At mile 15, they're sweating. At mile 22, their legs feel like lead. What keeps them going? Not talent, not comfort, grit. So if you've ever doubted yourself because you didn't feel naturally gifted, this book is your wake-up call. You don't have to be born brilliant. You just have to refuse to quit. Grit, as Angela Duckworth shows us, is the silent force behind success. The good news, it's in you. It always was. And if you start today, nurturing your interests, practicing with intention, finding purpose, and holding on to hope, you'll become not just a dreamer, but a doer. Someone who gets back up, keeps moving, and never ever gives up. Thanks for listening to this immersive summary of Grit by Angela Duckworth. I hope it inspired you as much as it inspired me. If you enjoyed this audio summary and want more life-changing ideas in your ears, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, stay gritty.